We. We're back. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Okay, we're good. Hopefully these aren't not too distracting, but we're here. The acoustics in this room probably not the best, but this is our $80 budget podcast.
This is what we get.
This is episode 1, the Coatedinacid podcast. We got James. Can I say your last name?
Yeah.
James Lucero as our guest. Who knows? Maybe he'll be like celebrity in the future.
I don't know.
Someone 10 years. He has a whole fan base 10 years from now is watching this back. But yeah, so we're here. We're live, and I guess this was just an idea I've had for a while. Just like hitting up friends and then asking them to do a podcast. Like I have some guest ideas in my mind right now, and to me they're fire, but I realize nobody knows who they are. Like nobody watching. The only people watching are probably like James Park or like me or my family. But I have some guests in mind, and I guess if you're in my circle, they're pretty fire. I'd say they're pretty fire. But if you're some random person, then no one cares who those guests are. But I mean, this guest's pretty fire too. James Lucero, pretty fire. He's like best friend from high school since I've known him since 2015. So yeah, and I guess I'm just about to talk about life. But yeah, so I guess earlier, when I brought James in here, he saw a bunch of books there. I'm gonna donate those books because we have a bookshelf. I have a bookshelf right there where there's a lot of just books that's just been sitting there for years and untouched. So why not just like clear out some space? But I also have some books right there because those books, I guess it's all off camera, you can't see it, but those books are worth something, and I'm gonna sell it. So I guess I'll start from my internship. So I'm not sure, I guess, who the target audience is here, but my name is Michael. I guess I should have introduced myself in the beginning. My name is Michael, but I'll start off with just talking about my work experience. So I started November 14, 2022. I guess I can drop the name, like Arbitech. It's on my LinkedIn anyways. It's public. So I worked for this company called Arbitech, and I had an internship there. I was a purchasing intern. So I worked there. Great people. But it was an internship, and so there was no like set date for like, oh, just internship is over in this. It wasn't like an official one, but the title. So I was treated like a full-time worker, but I was still being paid like an intern, and I was still working as much as an intern would, because some internships, or I guess like half internships, are part-time. The other half would be like summer internships, but I was treated like a normal worker there. Like I had like, I was on a payroll or whatever, and like, oh, coming into office. So I was working there from November until actually I quit my job March 10th of this year. So I quit my job then, but I guess it was an internship. So there was no actual like set time length for my internship. But my internship, so to me, I was like, dang, I'm gonna make it my own. I'm gonna make my own time frame, because it got to a point in my job. A lot of my job was copy and pasting things into spreadsheets. So going on a website and then copy pasting a part number, right? So a lot of copy pasting onto spreadsheets. And the first month and second month, I was like, oh, okay, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a lot about the corporate world, learning a lot about just life in general, what it's like to have money. Just coming out of college, I was at first a negative income person because I was going to college. Now I'm a positive income, and I was like, dude, I've never had money before. So I was like buying all kinds of things, specifically a lot of shoes, a lot of workout equipment. I think I still need to buy some more workout equipment.
Yeah, you got the means, so why not? Yeah,
exactly. I bought these mics. I can just buy things that are like less than $100 and not worry about it. Well, before I'd be like, dude, $20, man, dude, that's too expensive, man. But now it's like, now $100 is the new $20 basically, or right. So yeah, I did learn a lot. I love the people there. They're amazing. My coworkers, amazing people. It's just the company. I think, well, the company is technically a small company, even though it was made in 2000, so it's been around for a while. But it was still a small company. So I think the company needs some work, especially in their internship program. I think they just need to be involved more with their interns. But I did quit mainly because I got tired of just copy pasting things into spreadsheets. That was like the number one reason. But I actually have 5 reasons. So number one was that, yeah. The second reason was it was starting to affect my mental health. Like, for example, I was giving into temptation way easier than usual. For example, eating very sugary foods, eating very dirty foods, you know. I think that made me understand, oh, this is how the average American eats, and it seems to correlate with work. I think people alleviate their stress. The average American alleviates their stress by eating all kinds of sugary foods. You know what the average weight of a man in America is?
In America?
Yeah,
I mean,
195.
Definitely average is overweight for sure.
Yeah, it's 195. Yeah. So, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of weight, because the average height is like 5'10", 5'9". So that's me. I'm 5'9", right? And if I was 195, that's freaking heavy for me. I'm like 170 right now. So, but yeah, so it started to affect my mental health. And then number 3 was there was no opportunities for me to move up. It was 4 months in, and I was like, all right, man, I'm tired of being paid like an intern. And I'm tired of doing intern tasks as well. I want something more meaningful. And then I talked to my boss, I talked to the CEO, and I talked to the HR manager, and they're like, oh, well, the HR manager and the CEO were like, oh, just talk to your manager. And I talked to my manager, and then he was like, oh, we got nothing planned for you right now, so just keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just take I'll take my leave here then. So yeah. And then the other two reasons were, I can't think of it. I can't think of, off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but I had 2 more reasons. But yeah, but those were the main reasons. So those were the top 3 reasons, and I had 2 other reasons, but I forgot them. So I might edit in those reasons actually right here. I can just do that. But power of editing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I did quit my job March 10. That's why. So I was DMing James, and I was like, I'm gonna have a lot more spare time these days, and I do. More so, like a part time. I feel like I'm not fully like. I don't have as much time as like a summer college student, during the summer without, I guess, an internship or without work. But I still have like a lot more time than when I was working. So yeah, so I'm unemployed right now, but I have picked up a side hustle, which is reselling books. Do you know what arbitrage is?
No, I'm not too familiar with
So arbitrage is you buy something for cheap, sell it somewhere else for higher, and you keep the profit.
I mean, so resale basically.
Yeah. So it's the most basic business thing ever. But yeah, I was just like, a lot of what I was doing in my internship was doing those spreadsheets, and in order to maintain my sanity, I would watch YouTube videos, and a lot of it was just like entrepreneurial like YouTube channels, like Joshua Mayo, Alex Hormozy, Layla Hormozy. I'll admit Andrew Tate, quite a bit of Andrew Tate, but a lot of them talked about just obviously entrepreneurial things, and these are all like pieces of advice I've never heard before, because I'm so used to being a student, right? A student, It's like the education system teaches you to be a good worker. Apparently, it was made during the Industrial Revolution. The education system was so they purposely, this guy named, I believe, Horace Mann, and it was funded by Rockefeller. And do you remember Rockefeller?
Yeah.
He's like a super rich guy. So, but yeah, basically, a lot of these YouTubers, they're like teaching me things like, oh, just don't be lazy. You do have to work harder. Like, you do definitely have to work harder as an entrepreneur than just some worker.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because when you're, and the easiest way to make money in life, like in this world, is to get a job by far, by a landslide. Because when you're an entrepreneur, I believe this. So Layla Hormozy said, I don't know. I guess I can curse here. I guess I can, because the only problem with cursing is taking the time to edit out. But I guess quoting Layla Hormozy, this is exactly verbatim what she said, was the eating shit stage when you're an entrepreneur. So the first 1 or 2 years, you're just eating shit all the time. Again, verbatim by what she said, because you're failing. You're not making much at all. Versus when you get a job, boom, right away. Well, you have to get hired first, and then right away you're making a salary.
Yeah.
Right. So, but when you're an entrepreneur, you're trying things. You're trying this business model. You're trying that business model. You're failing like crazy. You're losing money here. You're making maybe like pocket change, and then after those 1 or 2 years, you learned quite a bit, and then it's more of an exponential growth rather than like a linear growth with a job, like a normal 9-to-5 setting job. Like, you can get maybe some raises, but 6 figures would be the goal. While in entrepreneurial, well, depending on what you are, like 6 figures is more like a landmark. 7 figures, 8 figures is more achievable than if you were just a 9-to-5er. But yeah, so because of that, I saw a Joshua Mayo video, and he was like, "Oh, selling books, reselling books on Amazon is a decent side hustle." And I was like, "All right, I'll try it. Seems easy enough." And honestly, it is a very easy business to get into. It's like super simple, super easy. That's like the biggest reason I got into it, because it's just simple. It's a very easy thing to do. So basically, you get this app called Scout IQ, and then that app tells you, "Oh, this book is worth something. This book is not." So I use that app to figure out my own bookshelf and to get rid of these books and to keep those. So I guess I started March 10, like on the day that I quit. So I've been doing that. Business has been not that great. Well, the money has been very, very little so far. I threw in 32 books. The downside of Amazon is they take their sweet ass time. They're super slow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
you don't know who's going to get in. You really don't. So
I sent in 32 books like a month ago, and it took 12 days to get my first sale. And I got 4 sales from that first 32 shipment books. And ever since then, I got nothing. But I made 4 sales. I made $80 revenue. Like it was like 79, 76. And Amazon takes about half. So I had like $32 of my cut. And then after, I guess it's gross profit, $32 gross profit. And then after expenses, I made $5.18 net profit.
For about a month of waiting? 2 months? Or no,
yeah,
2 weeks,
after like a month.
Yeah,
about 2. Technically about 2 weeks, but yeah. So I made $5.18, I guess, net profit. But even then, my mom helped me. So technically, my mom, I would entitle my mom some of that money. So I'm really gonna take home like $3 just from that first shipment. But I think I haven't got any more sales because I'm a new seller. And Amazon doesn't put the new sellers in the buy box. You know what buy box? The buy box is just they, I guess not, maybe not arbitrarily, but they choose some algorithm. They choose one of the sellers to be in the spotlight price.
Yeah.
So none of my listings got there because I guess I'm just a new seller, and I have no ratings on my thing either. And it straight up just says new seller on my thing. Although I did get 4 sales still, but I think Amazon still has that 30-day policy, the refund policy. So although I think by now the customers got their books, I'm not sure if they have. I think they did. They still have those 30 days to return it. So technically, that money is still like not completely mine.
Yeah, technically.
Until that 30 days is up. So that's like a whole nother month. So yeah, I made $5 so far, and I guess I'll probably give my mom like $2, or my mom probably won't want any of it because it's just so little. But
it'd be funny if your mom was extorting you for it. It's like, no, I did work hard. It's all mine now. It's like, oh shit.
So I wouldn't say exactly half either, because I did list them and she didn't. So I'd say like I'll take a little more than half. And then I guess she's like my first employee. She did help out. She's like pretty cool. Shout out to her, his mom. She kind of just tagged along. Yeah. So tagged along, helped me, find a bunch of books. The books are heavy, man. They're like £1 each. So. So I sent my first shipment like back in February, or not February, like 12 day or like 5. Actually, no, only like a few days after I quit my job. So like 5 days. I have the timeline in my notes. I might edit that in actually, but I sent in 32 bucks as my first shipment. And then I got those 4 sales and then nothing. And I was like, all right, well, I hit Placentia Library, Anaheim Library, and Cerritos Library. Well, actually, no. Cerritos Library was along with the first shipment. So the first shipment, I guess, was a collection of my own books. Cerritos Library, I went thrifting for a little bit, and I only found like 5 books. And then a random box I found right outside my church. So 32 books that were worth something. And I threw it in. I got 4 sales. And then after that, so yeah, 4 sales. And then I hit Placentia, I hit Anaheim, and I just hit Orange today. Today was not a great haul because, again, Orange let their members first for the first hour. So they pretty much took most of the good books, and I was left with about 12, which is not a lot from a library sale. Like, considering it's a library sale, that's not a lot of books. Because in Anaheim, I took 40 home, and in Placentia, I took 57 home.
Oh, jeez.
And then out of those 40 and 57, I was able to list, I believe, like 68, 78 of those books, because there are complications with, I guess, like, you can't sell every book. Some of the listings are like don't have the same cover as yours, or it says hardcover when it's soft cover, or vice versa. So you run into complications and you can't sell everything. So that's why I've kind of been clearing out my own book collection, because I need space to put in the new books I've been getting.
Yeah.
So that I am quite interested, that I might be interested in reading one day. But again, I don't really read that consistently these days. So yeah. But yeah, so I hit those. And then, so because of those 97 books, so Placentia and Anaheim, so I sent like 2 more shipments. And then, so it was like another 32 books and another 35 books. So it's shipment 2 and 3. They're processing right now. Again, it took 12 days to get my first sale after the first shipment. So it's still not day 12 since I sent the second and third. And then my mom and I hit 3 thrift stores in Anaheim a few days ago. I think like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got 26 books. And that's the 4th shipment. And I sent that on the next day after that. And now today I have, I don't know, about like maybe like, I have like 14 books there. And then some of them might not be able to be listable. So maybe like 12. So I have like 12 books to list, and I can send that to. So that's shipment number 5. And for now, I think I'm going to take a break because there are no more library book sales.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to see the money, I guess. Like, we'll see what the money does. And then I do have some editing to do too. So I'll switch my focus to editing. Like I focused on the side hustle. I guess it was kind of for fun too. Like focus on the side hustle. Okay, now I'll focus on editing. And I have to keep switching my priorities, right? So I think after today or after this shipment, I'll ship it out and then just forget about it, go on my my laptop and edit some videos because I have a lot backed up. But it is like a side hustle, but you can do it full time. So I think in terms of hypothetical numbers, apparently the average Amazon seller sells 1% of the inventory a day. So if you want to make 6 figures, you would need about 5,000 books in your inventory. And that's
good luck.
Basically 100 books a week for a whole year.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Luck.
And
I don't know if there are that many books around your area to get.
Right. I just my first 4 shipments were 125 books. And that took like a whole month. Basically.
Yeah. So, you are only one person, so there's only so much you can do technically.
Right. But you can build up to 6 figures, but in this business model, 6 figures would be, I guess, the goal. You can't really do 8 figures with this model, simply just because books are not worth as high
anymore. At least.
Like the average cost would probably be like $20 or $30 per book, and then that's like $5 to $10 profit each.
If you could get your hands on college books or school books,
yeah,
maybe. But I don't know if you'll ever be able to do that because I'm pretty sure the colleges have pretty tight hold on those books anyway. So
yeah, actually in the Cerritos library they had a economics book that I bought for like $2, and then that was one of the 4 sales. And I sold it for like $35.
Not bad. Yeah.
So that was a pretty good flip, and I made like $10 gross profit from that, and out of the net profit that's probably like $1. But yeah, so if you find good books, like actually what's funny was when I went thrifting, it seems like the thrift stores have like the most quirkiest books, which is a good thing, because one of them was this like Christian textbook and it was like $300, and I was like, what the heck? And I looked at, like, Googled it, and like other websites, I guess it's like a very low stock book, but other websites like Alibris, not beyond Amazon, it was like $300, Walmart $250. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna put us $250 then. Like, I don't think anyone's gonna buy it, but we'll see. And there's another book, like a Vietnam book, like Vietnam War like themed book, and it was like 130. Yeah, so some low stock books are just like crazy high, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna, I have one
rarity in there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure they're gonna sell. The whole point of making the money is they have to sell. If you just list them and they don't sell, then you didn't make the money,
basically.
So I don't think anyone in their right mind would spend that much money on a book unless they're not worried about money at all. But yeah, so those are like some examples. But yeah, I guess right now I'm just waiting on the money for the other 125, or I guess 125 minus 28. So the 97 books, we'll see what the sales are like there. Because the only thing I can do is just send more books. Because again, I'm not sure if my 28 remaining books will sell. Simply just because, yeah, I don't have much to my name on Amazon. Bakes Books, that's my store name. But yeah, so that's just what I've been doing actually. And I've been recording too. A lot of like what I do in life in general, a lot of what I do in life in general is like for content creation. So if you've ever seen my other videos, like, oh, my birthday special, just opening gifts, that's just content, you know?
Yeah.
So, or, oh, randomly recording us eating in Jackson's Chicken, like, it's just content, man. So same thing here. I've been recording here and there, and I want to try to make it a series too. Reselling books as a side hustle. Like, oh, make a TikTok series. Like, oh, does reselling books, or this, I tried reselling books for this many days. This is what happened, right? So and that's good content.
You do plan on continuing it, basically.
Yeah. So, although I have been kind of slacking a little bit in terms of editing, I have a lot backed up, especially when I started work. I just have a lot of things to edit, but I was so dedicating 11 hours every weekday to work. Like, I didn't have much time. I did have some time to edit, but I didn't have much time. And now that I'm back here, still, it's just like hard to like find time. Like, I have to like force myself to edit sometimes because I get lazy pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah, so honestly, I am kind of used to being told what to do, because that's just like, again, the education system. I feel like how I was raised in the education system, it really just, you know like my sleep schedule, right?
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So like,
generally.
so these days I've been trying to wake up at 7, like forcing myself, or 7, 8, or 9, like in between then, and I've been doing okay job so far. But yeah, that's kind of just like evident of like, dang, I'm so used to being told what to do, I can't even sleep on my own. So now I'm trying to, again, I set my alarm at 7 every day, 7 and 7:30. So I've been trying to wake up at 7 and 9, which I have been doing. So yeah, but yeah, I just need this whole entrepreneurial journey I want to partake in. I realize reselling books is not going to be the only thing I'm going to do. It's not quite sustainable, I guess, as much as other methods.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do want to partake in entrepreneurial journey, but I'm going to have to basically break out of the cocoon of being like lazy all the time, because entrepreneurial ventures are much harder, are much more difficult than just having a job. And I've been conditioned, I guess, to have a job more so, kind of like from the, also just, I guess partially it's the school system and like how I was raised, but also partially it's my fault too. I just need to stop being lazy. I need to learn how to be less lazy. So yeah, so that's just what I've been doing these days. Hopefully I make more sales in this journey, in this reselling books journey, but also hopefully I get to actually edit the freaking footage I have, and be more consistent. Try to get into TikTok more, because that's just where all the eyes are.
Yeah.
Like before, I was just like avoiding TikTok the whole time, but now it's just like, okay, there's a lot of potential here. There's too much potential I'm missing out on. I better just hop on. I've been doing YouTube Shorts anyways, so I may as well just like re-upload on TikTok. And then I haven't tried consuming TikTok yet, but I should, at least a little, to know what's going on, because they're different. Like YouTube Shorts and TikTok are still very different things. So, they're fundamentally the same, but they're still kind of different. So I gotta like get with the
minor nuances. Yeah. But
yeah, so yeah, that's been my life these past, how long has it been? 25 minutes. Yeah, it's 25 minutes of me talking about my life these past few months, man. So that's just what I've been up to.
Yeah, alrighty. Mind if I ask some questions then?
Yeah, go ahead.
So you said you quit around March 10, right? So it's been like maybe 2 or so weeks or something. Do you actually think you're because you said you were having some mental problems that were starting to creep up on you nearing the end of your job, right? Have those been fixed? Do you think losing the job was the issue, or that job was the issue, or do you think it was something else entirely?
Those were fixed like during my 2-week notice. So I sent my 2-week notice in. The second week of my 2-week notice, like I was in a really good mood. So I think that might have been just my body being like, heck yeah, you quit your job, man. It's about time. You were like sleeping on this all the time. Like for the whole month of February, I was thinking about like, dang, should I quit or should I just stick through it? And then when I did, like I put in my 2 weeks notice, and the second week I just felt good.
Okay, so, and then coming out of that, do you still feel good, or?
Yeah, I still feel pretty good.
Okay.
Waking up at between 7 and 9, and I'm not feeling like too much crap. But yeah, I'm doing a lot better these days.
Okay. Yeah. And so you did list out quite a few reasons for why you quit your job, and I think I don't know if you mentioned it, but I'm assuming one of the reasons also is that you stopped learning, is my assumption as well, because you were you said for your first 2 months you were like learning a lot, you were doing quite a few things, and then I think around 4 months you said that you wanted to stop being paid as an intern and you wanted to start doing new things, but your company wouldn't let you. So would you say that well, yeah, I don't know if you listed that as one of your reasons, but do you think that was one of your reasons that you stopped learning?
Definitely.
So if they did give you more opportunity, do you think you would have continued?
That's a good question, actually. I'm not too sure. I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt as much as can that month, but what I really thinking back, man, I was kind of just done with that experience in a way too. But I was trying to give them second chances, like as much as I could. I didn't want to just make a rash decision. So I might have maybe for another month, but I don't know if I would have stuck around unless it was really good or something like, I
guess it depends on what they were having you do or having you learn, I guess.
Right.
It didn't sound like they were too intentional with trying to keep you. Or at least it didn't sound like, from what you described, that they were trying to fight to keep you in. I guess you didn't just have an intern position, so I don't know what they count those as most of the time, but I'm sure they said, nah, whatever, I guess. But alrighty, that's interesting then. So the things that you learned from your job, and then you also learned through YouTube while doing your job as well. Yeah. So I'm assuming those are very, very different, right? Because you were learning about entrepreneurial.
Entrepreneur.
I'm never gonna say that.
Or you could just say self-employment, I guess.
I guess
or business owner.
Okay, yeah,
business.
Okay, so we're learning about being a business owner while also being a corporate worker.
Exactly.
So then those two things clash very well. Well, not very well, but they clash like completely, basically. So let's see. What do you think are the two main differences between being a corporate worker and a business owner? And then I guess could you go into pros and cons of both? Because you have experience in being corporate, and I think you've dabbled a little bit in kind of being a business owner, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess that would count technically. Yeah. So could you give in maybe a little bit of your own insight of the differences of the two, and maybe just some summaries, I guess, regarding them?
Yeah. So I realized in my job, life was really easy, dude. Like this was so easy. Like me sitting in a computer, just typing things away. I was doing the most easiest tasks. Living, I guess it's easy because I didn't have to pay rent too. Like obviously I was making $18 an hour, by the way, but it's gonna die. No, we're good.
It might be dying. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me see.
27. No, we're good. 27%.
Actually, it was 38 before. No, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But
okay. But yeah, life was really easy. But yeah, partially because I wasn't paying rent, so I'm still not paying rent, right?
Yeah.
I was making $18 an hour, or translating $37K a year, and in Southern California, that's gonna get you a tent, right?
Basically,
so
yes.
If you had to pay rent, that's a nice little shed in the backyard for you, right?
Cardboard box, yeah.
Yeah, but because I live with my parents, I guess aside from driving in like hour and a half a day, life was pretty easy. Aside from the drive, right? But literally, I remember popping popcorn in the office, and then just eating it and doing work at the same time. Like I felt like a king. I was like, dude, this is too easy. Like, man, like we come a long way as human beings, right? Like, whatever, like 200 BC or something. We were 2,000 years ago. We were hunting for, I don't know, we were throwing spears at bison or something, right? Yeah. But now I'm just sitting here eating popcorn, watching freaking Andrew Tate yell at me about my working at a 9-to-5 job, So I was like, dang, life is easy. But that's the thing. Having a job is the easiest way to make money. You do what you're told. As long as you do what you're told, you're being paid the same amount. If you want to be paid a little more, you can try working hard. Like I know people, some my coworkers, I know all like most of them were making six figures, and they do work hard. They have a lot of things to do. A lot of the tasks I did were things they were too busy to do, right? So their time is more valuable than mine was. So I was just doing like, again, spreadsheets, and it did help them a lot, but it was just menial tasks. But it was easy. So if you work a 9 to 5 job, if you do what you're told, you're going to make the same amount. If you work a little hard, you might work a little more. If you work super hard, but the ceiling is lower than if you're an entrepreneur. If you work really hard as an entrepreneur, you can make a lot of money, a lot more than just 6 figures. 6 figures would be the landmark again. But I guess the first biggest difference between having 9 to 5 and entrepreneur is just the difficulty. So when you have a job, do what you're told. When you're an entrepreneur, you got to tell yourself what to do. You got to be like, oh, sure, I need to do this, I need to do this. And you got to make all the decisions. You got to be you got to make financial decisions. You got to take risks, right? When you work for a company, that company's doing the risk for you. So, for example, I've been researching Amazon FBA. Well, I guess, so my retail arbitrage business, which is the reselling books, that is using Amazon FBA. But I've been watching, like, I guess the proper Amazon FBA side hustle, but tutorials on that. And that's making your own product, like coming up with an idea, hitting up manufacturers on Alibaba's website, like in China, or you can look from in the United States too, hitting up manufacturer, hey, can you make this for me? And then listing on Amazon and basically hoping people buy your product. So that's like the whole Amazon FBA, I guess, like side hustle entrepreneur like path you can take. But when you're doing that, again, yeah, you got to do everything yourself. You got to hit up manufacturer. You got to spend money buying a logo, buying an LLC, buying this, buying that. And then you don't know if your product is going to do well until it does well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One thing that's recommended is get a social media following, promote your product on social media following, have a demand before you even made the product. So this guy made flashcards, like bartender flashcards. So each flashcard has a different drink on it. And he made a TikTok channel on that. And because of that, he grew a following that wanted to have those cards before they even came out. And then because of that, he's doing really well now. He's making like, 6 figures. And the guy who is giving the tutorial, he's I forgot his name. I forgot his name, but he sells nut butter, but like
okay,
like fitness catered nut butter.
Okay,
or
yeah.
Ketogenic fitness catered nut butter.
Sure.
And he's making a lot of money. He's making bank. He lives in Mexico and he has like a house next to the beach, and he says he can travel the world and work anywhere in the world. So that's another difference between entrepreneur and 9 to 5. 9 to 5, you clock in the same office. You go to the same location every day. When you're an entrepreneur, you can work anywhere. The freedom is also like a pretty big difference too. You can work anywhere. Your hours can be at any time. Honestly, I can keep maintaining my stupid sleep schedule or my really erratic sleep schedule if I wanted to.
If you really wanted to, yes.
I could. Even though it's not quite ideal. Even in an entrepreneurial venture, it's not ideal still. You should be waking up the same time everyone else is. But yeah, that's like also one of the main reasons, the freedom and the difficulty. So the biggest upside of entrepreneurship is the freedom. But the biggest upside of 9 to 5 is the difficulty. It's easy. So most people in America, maybe like 70-80%, have 9 to 5 jobs, or just have a job where they work for someone. And for good reason, because, well, I guess, you can argue the education system, but it's just easy. Most people don't want to, again, go through the eating shit stage. There is no eating shit stage when you're working a 9 to 5. So yeah, so those would be like the two main pros and cons. But I feel like the entrepreneurial, for me personally, that appeals more to me than working a 9 to 5, because I did work 9 to 5. Although it was an internship, I've technically never had a full-time job before still, because it was an internship. But yeah, it was just so easy. I was like, there's no windows. I didn't see the sun. I was in the office for 9 hours a day, and it was easy. I was getting paid, but I was like, man, this is not the life for me, man. So yeah, I took up an easy business. It's super easy. Again, the difficulty of this business is pretty easy, but the reward is pretty low too. So yeah, so this is like, I guess, my foot in the door business. And Amazon FBA, I guess selling a product would be, for example, a better venture I should look into. So yeah, I guess that's my answer to your question.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're not ever planning on going back to 9 to 5 if you can't help it, right? That's what it seems like, at least.
To be honest, I think inevitably I will.
Oh, okay.
So, because again, I'm not paying rent, but I think sooner rather than later I will have to pay rent soon, in some way, shape, or form. Whether I live on my own or I'm still here, but I have to pay rent. The bills have to be paid.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess when you're eating shit, you can't pay bills.
Yeah.
I mean, from my understanding, couldn't you be both?
Well,
it would be a bit harder, but it's possible, I think. I mean, instead of watching YouTube, you could have been promoting your own shit during your job too, actually. Mm-hmm. If you can, maybe.
Yeah. But inevitably, I think, again, it really depends. If I do find success before then then good for me. But realistically, I do tend to be lazy. If I keep up with my laziness, assuming I don't improve my laziness, then I'll just have to go right back to 9 to 5, because again, it's just easy. But I think at that point I'd be looking more into like a sales position or a marketing position, because I would want to learn things. The thing about the 9 to 5 model is that it works. It's whether it's the school system or the 9 to 5 model, it got me waking up every day at the same time. But when I'm not, in the summertime, boom, I'm waking up at
whatever time you
waking up at 12 a.m. or waking up at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. It's just. But yeah, so I will likely probably have to apply again, especially when I come back after Korea, because again, my parents tend to be like, where's the money? Or my dad especially. My dad especially is like, where's the money coming in, man?
It's like, you gotta wait. It's like, no, I'm not waiting. It's like, fuck.
I guess my mom kind of understands what I'm doing, because she's tagging along my business too. And we see, I guess I did make $5 from this business so far, but she does see the potential too. Like my mom was actually like a real estate certified at some point. So I think she does understand entrepreneurship in general. Like she understands that whole concept. My dad doesn't really understand it. He's like, where's the money, man? Like there has to be money somewhere. And then he wouldn't dare, eat shit he wouldn't dare eat shit to start his own business. He's been working in the same place for 20 years and he's being paid really well. This is a nice house, right? I live pretty comfortably. My mom lives pretty comfortably. It works. He lives a life he's satisfied with, and it works. So he doesn't really have a reason to eat shit and then make a business. He doesn't have to make more. He can live like this the rest of his life.
Yeah, right. So well, what else are you? Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like he would be. I guess he would expect me to bring in money. Like he wants to see money, but he knows the 9 to 5 model works. He knows that works. He doesn't know what I'm doing in terms of. Well, he does know obviously what I am doing, but he doesn't know the financial potential of eating shit and then making money later, so
interesting. Well, alrighty, I guess we'll see what the future holds for you then. In any case though, sorry, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts actually. I just think it's interesting, but so I know you didn't. Well, you talked to me about it before, but then I don't know if you still plan on trying to move with that type of business. But I know you were thinking of doing the open-toed shoes, right? That type of stuff before. Do you think are you still on that track, or
the barefoot shoes
about that? Yeah.
So, did I tell you that I wanted to make a barefoot shoe?
I think that's what I do recall at one point. No, well, okay. You want to make a business around that at least, selling that type of thing before. So
right. So I have been. So I mentioned earlier in this podcast actually that a lot of the money I spent.
It was on shoes.
Was on shoes, and that's because I've been getting into barefoot shoes. Why have I been getting into barefoot shoes? Because I've been getting shin splints when I've been running, my whole third year of college, and in May 2020 as well when I ran for that month of May. I got bad shin splints, and I still have them technically right now. But one thing I just been researching like crazy, and one thing that came up was a lot of it has to do with your feet, and you need strong feet to be a runner. Like when you're running, obviously feet are important because you're running on them. So I want to be a runner, but because I have pain, it's really hard for me to be a runner. So I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? So, okay, your feet need to be stronger. Okay, how do you make them stronger? First of all, you change. The first step is to wear better shoes. You know, when you wear conventional shoes, the toe boxes are very narrow. Your toes are squeezed like this. Look at your hands, right? Your hands are very similar to your toes, or your fingers are similar to your toes. Your hands are similar to your feet. You know, you can do this. Your hands are super, like, dexterous, right?
I mean, technically, you should also be the same
Right.
with your feet too.
You should be the same
Technically,
with your feet,
but I don't know if many people are. But yeah,
Because of conventional shoes, your toes are crammed like this, 12 hours a day, and those were mine. Like I wore conventional shoes my whole life until I think September of last year, September 2022. I started wearing barefoot shoes exclusively, and that's just from ignorance. That's just from like, oh, it's normal to squeeze your toes like this and shove your foot into a shoe. That's like
it does kind of look better, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's super padded. The main reason is just aesthetic. The main reason of the narrow toe box is the aesthetic. It looks better. Like 9 times out of 10, a narrow toe box shoe just looks better than a barefoot shoe that's like super wide.
You could say that about quite a few shoes or quite a few things, to be honest. Like same with clothes, and I think high heels. If we're still talking about shoes, because I don't think there are any practical reasons to be wearing high heels except to be a bit taller and to look better. But I don't know. There's a lot of things like that, and I guess shoes just fall into that category. So then, what about the open-toed shoes? That is better than.
Yeah. So I realized growing up, I've been only wearing these, and I haven't been using my feet at all. Like I had that tan line, like that tan line, like my feet were white and my legs were brown.
Yeah, just like dark.
And then it's just like, but I remember in college though, I was starting to get pain. Like I remember wearing, I guess like the regular width shoes, and I started getting a pain in between, like a numbness feeling in between my big toe and my second toe, and there was like a numbness feeling right there. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I told my dad. He was like, okay, we'll buy wide shoes. They do sell wide conventional shoes. So it's like 2E and 4E. So I guess the standard is D, and then 2E is the next width, and then 4E is the next width. But it gets wide, not on the toe box, but on like the
sides.
The balls. Yeah, the sides of your feet. Yeah. Or like around where the ball of your feet is. So
yeah.
The sides. So it gets wider there, but not on your toe box, which is where it's the widest on your foot. So that did help a little, but it still didn't solve like the problem of, it's super cushiony. There's a heel to toe drop where the heel is higher than where your forefoot is, and that is not good either. So yeah, because of that, when I switched to barefoot shoes, it was a good decision. I also did like a program called, I guess it was called Ready to Run, and it is renamed now to Functional Feet. But I did that too at work as well while I was working, and my feet are more dexterous, which is a good thing. My feet are stronger because of that program, and because I've been wearing barefoot shoes, and I did wear toe spacers for a little bit, but they're not as important. Aesthetics, even in that the Ready to Run program / Functional Feet program, there's an article that the person, his name is Graham Tuttle, he even says aesthetics don't really matter. It's more of the function of the foot. Like if you see LeBron James or Usain Bolt's feet, and they're super good athletes, they're all like, they're jacked up.
Yeah, they're
but they're the best athletes, meaning they have elite level like feet strength. But so aesthetics don't really matter. And although like I guess the toe spacers do help spreading the toes out and making it more like naturally aligned, aesthetics don't matter too much. So it's just the function that matters. So I don't wear them anymore, but I did wear them in the beginning. And now I don't need to, I guess, because they did spread out a little. So I can't even wear conventional shoes anymore because it's painful now.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so. But yeah, I can walk around barefoot now and not be sore. Because when I first started trying to walk barefoot outside, I walked 10 minutes on the grass. Boom, my feet were taxed. They were super tired. And then I just didn't really want to walk around. I was just, like, the muscles were, like, super tired. But eventually I built up, and now I can just walk around like barefoot. Now the skin is the bottleneck, so not necessarily the muscle but the skin.
Interesting.
Because if you walk around barefoot on the road, the road is really sharp and really
that's
tough.
gonna just fucking hurt. It's like,
So
fuck.
you can like build calluses, and just like doing like when you do pull-ups, you get calluses on your hands, right? And eventually pull-ups don't hurt your hands anymore, but you can do the same thing, but it just takes a long time. So
and is it worth it?
Yeah, exactly. And is it worth it too? So I did try moisturizing, and it does help with the outer layer, but the inner layer still gets irritated by, you know, the rough surface being like, you know, I guess technically calluses are really deep, right? So the calluses on your hand, they're deeper than you think. You can, I once stabbed a pencil into my callus, like while I was bored in A push, and Chris Chang behind me, he was like, "Why would you do that, man?" Because he saw me do it. I was like, and I didn't feel anything, and I stuck like a lead inside my callus, and he saw me do it. He was like, "Why did you do that, man? What's the point of that?" You know, so
Curiosity, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but I was just bored in A push, so I did that.
Killed the cat and the callus. Anyway, sorry.
I guess anywhere you have skin, you can build a callus, right? So
I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to say that. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Go for it.
Yeah. But so you can build up the resistance, and there are people that run barefoot marathons. You know, there's one I think in New York. There's one in New York. There's a whole barefoot marathon. Yeah, those guys are G's, right? Those people are G's. Like that's some real like strength. But what was I talking? Oh yeah, so it was. I did strengthen my feet, and yeah, so it is. I think it is better. I wouldn't go back to conventional shoes like ever again. Simply just, and the biggest difference, or the most important part of barefoot shoes is that they're wide on the toe box. That's the biggest important difference. Even if you don't like how thin most barefoot shoes are, you can just buy, for example, Ultra, and that's still thick. That's still a thick shoe, but there's zero heel to toe drop, so it's completely flat. There's no heel lift, and wider toe box. And yeah, it's not flexible though, because again, it's very thick. But flexibility on a barefoot shoe is important. But if it's a thick sole, then you can't really be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So I wear the thin shoes. I just like them. Yeah, but even if you don't be like, oh, I don't want to walk around with thin sole, just wear Ultras then, or just wear Lems. That's also kind of like a thick sole, but still barefoot shoe. I guess minimalist shoe at that point. So I would suggest, like, you know, going back to the monkey ways, you know, and worry about your feet, like your feet are your hands, you know. So very important.
Yeah, I mean, most people put lotion on their hands and moisturize their hands, right? But then they don't really do that for their feet, I assume. But you never know. So for something like barefoot shoes, or the ones the shoes with the big toe box, do you think that something like that will catch on in this society?
It's gonna take a long time. I think it's kind of like veganism. So more and more people are being vegan. More and more people are being cautious about, oh, this you know, this food is high in sugar, or oh, this food is high in protein, so it's a good thing, or, you know. So I think same thing with barefoot shoes. It's much slower. The first barefoot shoe was like 2006, so that's relatively recent.
Yeah. Compared to a lot of things, yes.
Right. While narrow toe box shoes were around since we were, you know, medieval times, or even before that, right? So yeah, it's gonna take a while.
So I guess then going back into the business thing that we were talking about, is that something you'd still want to pursue, or do you want to wait till it gets a bit hotter, or do you even want to pursue building a business around that type of shoe?
So at some point in my life, yes. How I imagined it, I guess,
back then, or when you were first thinking about it,
when I was first thinking, how I imagined it was, oh, I'm gonna become a famous YouTuber, and then I'm gonna promote that, and then because I already have that demand, it's gonna be easy to sell. It's kind of like why YouTubers write books. You know, if you're an author that nobody knows and you write a book, who's gonna see that book? How many are you to sell, right? If you're a YouTuber and you suck at writing, but you still write the book, people are gonna read it because you're a famous
you have an
YouTuber.
audience.
Yeah, so that's how I imagined it too. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a famous YouTuber, and then, or, you know, I'm gonna grow a following and then make that shoe. But now I think I should confront it earlier than later, right? It's better for me to worry about it sooner than later, or I'll consider it, and I don't really know what it's like to make a shoe or manufacture a shoe. So especially one of a barefoot shoe nature, obviously making a normal shoe conventional shoe is easy. It's $1 billion industry. There's so many ways, so many factories making shoes these days. But a barefoot shoe, that's different. And again, to make it appeal to, you know, the 20% battery, whatever. But to make it appeal to more people, I guess beyond the barefoot shoe community, which there is a barefoot shoe community, it's gonna take a while. But that is an avenue I could look into. I don't know how hard it is, and yeah, I should confront it sooner than later, or at least like look into it. And designing it's gonna be difficult too. The shoe I do wear, it's called like the Primal Sawyer from Softstar. That is the shoe I like the width. I like the width of that shoe. But yeah, it's gonna be hard to sell a shoe that looks like that, because that's like the most weirdest looking shoe ever. But yeah. I don't care at this point. I just wear it and it's fine to me. But I ideally want a waterproof shoe, because that shoe is leather, and if it gets water on it, it's screwed. So ideally I'd want a waterproof shoe, and even like kind of like an athletic shoe too. Like you can also, because that shoe's also leather, so you can't really be athletic with it either. So an athletic waterproof wide as that shoe, that's what I want ideally. And then I guess the thickness, I'm not too sure. I haven't really experimented with thicknesses besides just really thin ones. So like 6mm. But yeah, if I guess I do that for Amazon FBA, who knows? I might look into Amazon FBA as in like selling a product. Maybe I'll make a different product first and then sell that, and then make that one. But again, I don't know. But I do want to at some point. I do want to make my own shoe at some point.
Okay, so. Cool then. Just at some point. So you're not too sure, but that is definitely on the back burner for now. Or I guess you'll bring it up closer if you feel the need to. Okay.
Yeah.
So at least there are some things you have planned. That's good then. So then, from what it sounds like, you're not too sure. You're still researching things regarding being a business owner, and still researching things regarding your own business that you are kind of doing right now. Is that what you're just going to be planning on doing in the future still? Like using reselling books and doing research still? Or did you have something else in mind?
I guess for now, that's the life for now. Just right now, I'm...
And editing as well.
Yeah,
and then...
editing, reselling books, helping out my family with the household chores and stuff. Like running errands for my family. That's going to be my life for a little longer. I'm going to go to Korea in May though, so that'll be cool. But yeah, that's my life so far. But it's not going to be the same thing forever though. Except for the editing part. I think I will make videos for the rest of my life. Or for a good major portion of my life. Because I know there are some YouTubers that are like legendary YouTubers. For example, Nigihiga. Do you know Nigihiga? Like he's now a Twitch streamer. So he doesn't make videos anymore. But so there's potential for me to stop. Although that's still content creation. Live streaming is still content creation.
Yeah, definitely.
So it is highly likely I will keep creating content for the rest of my life, or for a good portion of my life.
Okay.
Yeah. But then, reselling books, you can get away with it, especially if you're not in California, I guess.
Yeah, where you're living, right?
Yeah. Because I did see one other person doing the same thing I was doing in Cerritos library sale. But after that, I didn't see anyone else doing what I was doing. So I think it might not be a Southern California common thing to do. But in like other states, I'm pretty sure it's much more common, because you can, again, the money's low, which doesn't fly in California, but it does fly in other states.
Yeah, definitely in other states.
So yeah, in terms of reselling books, it's kind of just like a fun thing, and then I'll try to make it like a content series. But yeah. Okay.
Cool then. Nice. A lot of things on the horizon, even if it might be a bit further away for you. Cool.
Wonder if the mic is getting the shifting, the table shifting. When
it's not catching it anymore, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I guess how long? It's been like 55 minutes.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so I think what we can do. So I think I should pause recording and then re-record, and then same thing with these.
Sure.
And then we can keep talking, because we still have yet to talk about James's life, unless.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we still have yet to. Yeah.
Be as long as 55
so
minutes, though, to be honest.
Yeah, 55 minutes. This is probably like a 15 gigabyte video right now. Like 15
shit.
At least 15 gigabytes. So
yeah, you might want to just stop it then. Should I stop it here too?
So part 1, I might upload this as part 1, and then part 2 will be the second episode.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's episode 1 or part 1 of the first podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. I guess with James again. Yeah.
Thanks for watching and listening.
All right.
I don't know if you were expecting me to ask you questions, but I definitely just went for it because I didn't know what else to do.